Well, that segues very, very nicely to our speaker. And I'm very excited personally because I've known Donald since I started at Ahern Hotel a little over a year and a half ago, and find him just to be an amazing man who lives the mission of what we do. Let me just share very briefly before I have to come to the podium. Donald Verleur has been at the forefront for nearly 30 years of helping children and families overcome the cycle of abuse as CEO and president of Ahern Crest. April this month is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we've been doing a lot in the community to promote Child Abuse Prevention Month. And at your tables, you're going to see a pinwheel. And at the end of the program, I'm going to have a little contest to see who gets to take the pinwheel home. That's a big deal, guys. Come on. But we planted these pinwheels around where we work, at our office. We had an event yesterday where we had the privilege of having the Welcome to Las Vegas sign lit up in blue for the entire month of April. And this coming week at the Clark County Government Center, we're going to have some of our staff go out and plant some of these. Just as a reminder, since blue is the color, you see that I'm wearing blue. Our ED is wearing blue. Jimmy Monahan to my right. Our speaker maybe has a little bit of blue in his shirt. Okay, we'll let that go. Okay. Anyway, so we're just very excited to be able to share this with you and what we're doing at Ahern Crest. And as I say, Donald is going to go into a little more detail. Under Donald's leadership, Ahern Crest has expanded to 3 states, including, of course, right here in Las Vegas, operating 12 offices in 8 counties, with serving more than 5,000 kids every day through a variety of diversified programs. Donald's parents actually founded Ahern Crest a little more than 50 years ago, and in that time, Ahern Crest has become the recognized leader in the prevention of child abuse and meeting the individual needs of kids in crisis, and providing safe homes, counseling, and education for both youth and parents. It is indeed my privilege to welcome to the podium Mr. Donald Verleur.
I'm a typical man that can't do 2 things at once, so please be patient with me. This morning when I was going to the airport, I flew in this morning. Of course, I left my phone at home, and it was scary. Jimmy said, "Are you naked and afraid?" And I was. But I got to tell you, it was the best thing. I actually was free, and I could talk to people, and it was wonderful. And I'm going, man, I'm going to start leaving my phone at home now. But the funny story about that is, just last night I have a 16-year-old boy. I was lecturing him on how he was too much on the phone. And this is what God does to me, is humbles me constantly to say, well, you are too. And so I'm just so grateful to be here today to share a little bit. Yes, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, but guess what? It happens every day, 365 days a year. In the United States, every 10 seconds, a child abuse report is filed. In the United States, every day, 5 kids die as a result of child abuse. And those are the ones that know. I've been to the coroner's office, and it has to be very legit, because they don't want to say, oh, this was a result of child abuse. So that is probably underestimated. But today, I'm going to talk about child abuse prevention, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the root cause and what Ahern Crest is very good at working at the symptoms of child abuse and helping the children and doing a lot of things, and I'll share about that. But the root cause is what we call strong families. And you can see in our logo, it says Ahern Crest, strong families, safe kids. I believe in our society that if we spend time, strong families, working with the fathers, and the kids with the fatherless, all of this, we are going to eradicate and get rid of all of the epidemics, from chemical dependency to homelessness to human trafficking. All of these things, the root cause, not cause, but the solution is a strong family. So, to tell you a little bit of what a strong family is, I am going to share a little bit about my story and the story of the community that I've been involved with, and the story of why now. Why do we need to turn the corners now in our society? I was just talking to a young lady at my table, and she's going, man, it's bad. Yeah, it's hard. And we need to turn the corner in our great nation. So I'll start a little bit about my family. Here's my family. Oh, I went too fast. Oh no, it's going. See, this is 2 hands. No, it's going automatically. Stop. You know what? I'm going to do this. The remote. I did too. There's technology that you guys. This is my family. I have 3 boys. The oldest one right there, long hair. You can see my wife, long, beautiful hair. She is my spicy Mexican, and I'm her German robot. And God brought us together, and I got to tell you, it was a clash of 2 titans. And without God, we couldn't have produced these 3 wonderful boys that you see in front of you. Her name is Hillary. She was a school teacher for 15 years, but we were blessed that she could be a full-time, listen to this, full-time stay-at-home mom. Full-time means she's employed at home. And it's just a blessing to me and the boys. And as I say to the board of Olive Crest, you get 2 for 1. Because she dresses me in the morning. I would look really bad if my wife didn't dress me. So through this, though, we have hosted 14 kids through the years in our home and restored them to families. So families that were in crisis, that were struggling, we took those kids in and helped them stabilize and get back. What a lot of people, what Olive Crest doesn't tell you, is when you do this, my wife has now become a mentor for those moms. So even though those kids are back, my wife is still called almost weekly by those moms and saying, hey, well, how do I do this? How do I navigate? So it's a lifelong thing that she's doing, and I'm supporting her in that ministry. But I don't know if you caught on. My name's Donald. Her name's Hillary. Does that ring a bell for anybody? 2016 was our best year. It was awesome. So I'm going to show you a picture right now. Look at my wife, long hair, beautiful, gorgeous. Here we go, here we go. We decided for Halloween to dress up as Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Is that amazing? And our boys, we decided to be Secret Service agents. The funny thing about this, there's a lot of funny things. First, Donald Trump groped Hillary Clinton later that evening, but we won't talk about that. But she actually found that costume 2 days before Halloween in the thrift store. And it worked so well, doesn't it? And we were actually at a Halloween party. We won the contest. But I was in LA, and she said, okay, now you take the boys trick-or-treating. I go, wait a minute, I'm Donald Trump. I could get shot. I'm LA. This is not good. So, anyway, that is a little bit of our family, and I'm sad to report that last year was the last year we dressed up for Halloween. We've been many characters that my boys are now. Friends are more important than their parents. I have no friends. So I'm part of Olive Crest. Robin kind of shared. Olive Crest is dedicated to preventing child abuse by strengthening, equipping, and restoring children and families in crisis, one life at a time. Our values are grace, truth, and servanthood. So I want to tell you a little bit. it's interesting because people hear my parents founded Olive Crest 50 years ago. Well, I was not planning to work at Olive Crest. In fact, although my family was always about children, I grew up with the children. We went on vacation with the children and stuff like that, and I was fascinated by the human body. And so I felt I wanted to be a pediatrician, so I went to medical school. And I'm fascinated by the body. It's an example of God's Word to me, because it is so complex that it can live 100 years, but so simple that it can die by just tripping and falling. It's an amazing thing. And I think the Bible is so simple. Love your God with all your heart. Love your neighbor with all your heart, mind, and soul. And love your neighbor. At the same time, it's so complex that it can take a broken man like me and transform my life and bring me onto the right path. And that's the beauty of the gospel. So, as I was in pre-med, I could work at Olive Crest in the night shifts and study. It was a great job, get paid and study, because the kids are asleep. And I really started to get to know these kids. And I found out really quick, although that they had been through traumatic trauma, and I got to tell you, I've been in basements where kids were locked up for years. And I've seen stuff that I mean, my wife looks at me and goes, "Why aren't you shocked?" I go, "Honey, you just don't realize that I've seen it. And so things don't surprise me as much." And although the trauma has gone through, these kids are resilient. They are so tough. I love them. And they're also thankful for the little things. You know, I hate to say it, my boys I'm trying not to entitle them, but, you know, they're used to breakfast in the morning. And they're not really thanking their mom for that. They just assume it's a given. These kids are thankful. "Oh, thank you for 3 eggs? I can have 3 eggs?" That's the kind of kids. And I felt God's calling at that point to go work at Olive Crest. My dad, who had started Olive Crest, he was a school teacher and became a school psychologist. He looked at me and he said, "I don't want you working at Olive Crest. You can do so much better, make money, do this. It's a burnout job. What are you doing?" So my dad did not encourage me to do it. But I felt God's call. And he's now turned the corner and he's like, "Thank you." So I didn't do it. But that's a little bit about the story of me and my family and why at Olive Crest. But Olive Crest, our vision is a strong family for every child. So you go, "Wait a minute, I thought you were about child abuse." Why a strong family for every child? Because we know, going back to it, a strong family means a safe kid. Strong family, safe kid. It's so simple, but it's complex. This is our proven model, Olive Crest Continuum of Care. And it's, again, simple but complex. And this is a little complex to me. But we believe that Olive Crest transforms the lives of children in crisis through the healing power of God, family, and community, one life at a time. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. What is that? But the first thing that we do when we take children and families is we provide a safe home. That is stability. There is nothing more therapeutic than stability for a child. I want to encourage dads, families, mothers here, create stability in your home. It is critical. They need to know that there's a home to go to. I'm going to share a story of one of our trustees, actually from Los Angeles. He was through going in a situation, and he was getting divorced. And they had a young daughter. And I love what he decided to do. He was well enough to do this, but he had a house, and he decided his daughter was going to stay in the house, and his wife was going to go 1 week and stay in the house, and she moves out, and he was going to go in. Is that crazy? I know if all of us can't do that, and That's a hard possibility to figure out. But he put the child first and created a stable environment for that child. We have a lot of trustees and a lot of volunteers that their kids are not stable yet, and they have kids, and they're taking their kids into their home and watching them and creating that stability. So I want to encourage you, if anything comes away from this, encourage you to create that stability in your home. And that stability is not just the home, 3 meals a day and all that, but it's a stability of routine. So my family, we try to have dinner. I would say we hit 3 out of 7 a week. 3 nights that we have dinner together. And we sit down and we do highs, lows, and something you didn't know. We go around, my boys can't stand it. But we go around in a circle and go, what's your high? What's your low? And what's something you didn't know? And we're creating that consistency or that stability that is key. So that's the first step to our proven model. It's not rocket science, it's pretty simple. But the second step is equipping for life. And equipping for life is all the things we do for our kids. Provide them counseling, provide them education, provide them life skills. How to do a checkbook. How to do things in life. How do you negotiate when a kid is getting bullied in school? What are you going to do in that situation? These are all life skills that we do with our kids. Again, going back to stability is the key, but for them to be able to grow and develop, educate, and everything. I want to just going off script a little bit, so I apologize for that. How do you create stability, or no, how do you do that plan? This is something that is amazing to me in our society. We all have businesses, we work, we do these strategic plans, we do the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We do EOS. We do all of these things that we do in the business. Why don't we do that with our families? Why don't we think about our families and develop a plan for them and goals and dreams? My wife and I and our boys, we have this fun thing that we do. We call it Dream Weekend, where we sit down and go, what do we dream our family can be in the next couple of years? It's vision casting. But we do that, and it becomes a plan. Where do you want to develop as a child? My 12-year-old wants to, I don't know why, but he wants to be a mechanical engineer. So I'm getting him into robotics and stuff like that. My older one wants to be a veterinarian. I'm going, okay, here's an internship at a veterinarian. You know, so you got to dream with your kids and develop a strategy and a plan of how you're going to act that out. There's a love scene, I went off the script. Loving home. Oh, I forgot about this. It's so weird. There's pictures. It's not showing all the pictures. I don't have the pictures. There they are. Okay. I wanted to mention, because I got to go back to stability before equipping for life, but the name Olive Crest, people go, what in the world is Olive Crest? Isn't that a retirement community? That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? But the name came from the olive tree, and I don't know if you guys know, Noah, the dove coming back, is a symbol of peace or stability. And so the crest is the family crest. And so the meaning of olive crest is peaceful family. Strong family, peaceful family. And it's very, in the Bible, Genesis 8:11, the dove came to him in the evening, and in its beak was a freshly plucked olive tree. Deuteronomy 24:20, when you harvest the olives, this is what's the most amazing verse to me, from the trees, never knock down all of them. Leave some for the foreigners, orphans, and widows. And then Psalm 52:50, but I am like a large olive tree that's stable in God's house. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. And so that's that, we call it the hidden meaning, because a lot of our kids don't want to be known that they're part of child help or some name. They like the name Olive Crest, so it's a hidden meaning of peaceful family. Okay. Well, and also stability. I wanted to share. This is Olive Crest's solid track record. We serve 5,000 kids, 50,000 children and families every year. Ready for this one? This one's a really crazy one. 4 million volunteer hours every year. If you take that 4 million and multiply it by 20, what is that, you guys? $80 million worth of volunteers that all of Crest receives. And guess what? We need to double that. That's how needed the family is in support of that. But I wanted to share the highlight that I highlighted, the stability rate of Olive Crest families and children. When a child or a family comes into Olive Crest, we have a 99% stability. That means that the kid does not move for 1 year. There's stability. Because that's what we value in our thing. The national average, ready for this one, for kids in the child welfare system is 74%. It's pretty crazy. Kids move from here, you've heard, foster home to foster home to foster home. So I wanted to show just the example of the stability and how critical and why Olive Crest has such an incredible track record. And then I went into tools for success. Here's my personal family's mission statement. Our mission statement is, our family rocks. I had to have something fun. I had to. And if you need any dad jokes, I have 100 of them. But our family rocks is based on the verse, therefore everyone, or Matthew 7:24-25, therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. Isn't that a cool mission statement? And this is our values that we have in my family. Love and protect. I have verses I tie to this. If you're interested, I can send you. Truth and grace. Love and protect. I don't know. I talked about bullying. My boys, I am so glad with them. There are parents that have come to me and said to me, you know, your boy stood up for my son when he was getting picked on? And I was like, way to go. Way to be that warrior. Love and protect. Truth and grace. Well, doing pretty good on the truth and grace, but I got to tell you, when they turn teenagers, their lips are moving, they are lying. But we still bring those up. Listen and obey, and then there's another one, stewardship and purity. I mean, it is hard out there. I'm not that old, I don't think, but I would say, say something pretty drastic, but when I went to high school, maybe 10% of the boys had had sex. It's like 100% now. It's like 99% that boys have had sex in high school before marriage. It is a different world with the social media and everything that is going on. I want to tell you that it doesn't have to be as complex or it's just having a plan. I will tell you a story of one of our foster families, or not foster, a family we were working with. And it was a single mom, and she had a son that wouldn't listen to anyone. And we sat down, the first thing we do with the family is we go, what's your strengths? What's your weaknesses? What's your opportunities? What's your threats? And we were walking through it, and the case manager finally said, because no one could, she said, is there anyone that this boy has ever listened to? And the mom goes, yeah, you know what? His name is Scar. He's part of the Hells Angels. I said, can we get a hold of him? And the mom got a hold of this man. And the man came and sat down with the boy and said, I love your mom and I care for your mom. You need to listen to her because she has your best interest in heart. And I don't want to come back here and find out you're not listening to her. Guess what happened? The boy started listening. So sometimes it's as simple as a solution of finding out what opportunities and threats and strengths and weaknesses there are in that. And that's just an example of having a plan or skills for life. But those are the two things. So I said, is that all that makes a strong family? Stability and the tools. I believe, and all of Crest believes, true transformation comes from the healing power of God, family, and community. Okay, so let me talk to you a little bit about what that means with God. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Raising children is not an easy task, especially in today's society. And if I didn't trust on God and take the time to sit back and go, God, what would you have me do? I would be running in circles. I can't tell you, there's many disciplines of prayer, worship, but having a quiet time of just listening to God and Him telling you. In fact, all you guys in business, somebody, a mentor of mine, I've been blessed with many mentors, told me, Donald, get all the information, have people talk to you, and get wise counsel. But after that wise counsel, take 2 to 3 days and stop getting all the words in your head and all the information, and just stop and listen to what God says. So that quiet time is where I will make those kinds of decisions. But the other thing that I learned that is very powerful that I want to share with you is when you have those burdens, we are common to take those burdens on our own shoulders. And you can trust God to take those burdens. But it's so hard. I can say that, and it's so hard to do. But let me tell you something that I learned. It's a real trick. I'm hoping this is helpful to you. But when I'm stressing out, and it's 1 a.m. in the morning, I wake up. How many have done that? Okay? So what I do is I say, God, I give you everything and everybody. Do you guys all say that with me? God, I give you everything and everybody. Easy to say. It usually takes me somewhere between 50 to 100 times repeating that for me to let go and give it to God. But I can't tell you, He loves us and loves our kids and loves our community more than we can imagine. And we need to trust Him in that. That's what this means, faithful. So I want to encourage you, when you have that and you're worried, what is it saying? God, I give you everything and everybody. So somebody taught me that a little bit ago, and it's just been huge on my life. So there it is. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Man, that's just opposite of my controlling heart. Lean not on my own understanding? Well, I know what's better for me. No, it's pretty clear. And in all ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. So there it is. God, I give you everything and everyone. I say everybody. My wife says everyone's my word. Being the elementary teacher that she is. So I'm going to go on to community. So all of Crest is part of my community, and I'm so blessed that God provides incredible staff, incredible volunteers. But this is a Bible study group that my wife and I belong to, that I've been part of for 10 years. And I want to encourage you. That's that. Remember I said, all of Crest transforms your life through the healing power of God, family that God created in creation, instituted, and community. Well, this is a community. God made us relational people. And if we don't have community, it just makes it harder for us to lean on it. Think of the first church. It was a community of believers coming together and supporting each other. Well, my wife and I were so blessed with this group, that we've been with for 10 years plus, that I want to share. Not only did my boys get mentored by the other dads, the dads were there when I couldn't be there. We did passages of the boys as they grew up, when they were 12, when they were 16, and those men talked into my boys. That's what community, and this group was so, it wasn't just internally focused, how can we support each other, but how can we support the community? And through this group, they took care of over 50 children outside of those families through foster, kinship, and others. There were 6 adoptions through this group, and there was over 30 baptisms. And all they were doing was being faithful, serving, and helping out. But because they were a community, they were supporting each other. And that's what the community that we're talking about in all of us. And I encourage you as a family or other family, get involved in community.